What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Philistine YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my sort of late season power rankings for the 2022 AFL season. Now, as some of you may remember, I did do this video a little bit earlier on in the year. I think it was mid-season sort of power rankings, but today we're here with the late season power rankings. So if you guys going to enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, share and subscribe. Like I've said a number of times, we are so close to 300 subscribers, and yeah, it would really mean a lot if you leave a like, share and hit that big red button down below that says subscribe and make it turn grey. And yeah, don't forget to hit that notification bell as well if you want to stay up to date with all my content that I put out. But anyways, hope you enjoy the video, and that'll be all from me. Yeah, without any further ado, yeah, let's get stuck into it. So yeah, like I said, the columns, they're exact same as last time. We got 1st to 4th up the top, 5th to 8th, 9 to 12, 13 to 15, and 16 to last. Structure, so I'm going to go up from last to first, and I think it's probably no surprise who I have in 18th. We've got the North Melbourne Football Club. It's no secret that, you know, North have had a really disappointing year. I think a lot of people probably would have had them, you know, maybe climbing out of the bottom four this year. I believe I had them 15th, I think, in my ladder predictions, so I wasn't too far off. But yeah, it does look like North Melbourne are the favourites to win the wooden spoon. I'm pretty sure they had an investigation or something like that. North, they've just had a really poor year. They've won 2 games. They have shown a little bit of fight against teams like Richmond and Collingwood, and I've got North Melbourne in 18th. In 17th spot in my power rankings, I've got the West Coast Eagles. Well, a few weeks ago, before they had the surprise sort of form regeneration over the last couple of weeks, they were probably the favourites to win the wooden spoon themselves over North Melbourne. They were probably just as bad earlier on in the year as North, only winning the 1 game as well. But yeah, they've really found a little bit of form, West Coast. They haven't always been getting the results, but they've shown a lot more fight than North Melbourne this year. But yeah, I've got West Coast in 17th in my power rankings. Next up in 16th, and I feel like this is a little bit harsh considering they had a huge win last night over Carlton. I've got the Adelaide Crows in 16th. Now, like I've said a number of times, I have raps on Adelaide. Like, I think they're going to be a very good side in a couple of years, and I think last night's game against the Blues really just proves what I know. But yeah, the Crows, they're a very young side. They're a very inexperienced side. I think Matty Nicks has got a very talented group in front of him. You know, Darcy Fogarty's, Ben Keys. Yeah, I think this is maybe a tad harsh considering they just did knock off Carlton. They beat Richmond, the Crows, and then I'm pretty sure, well, they had a gallant effort against Sydney, let's be honest. And yeah, they've shown some signs this year, the Crows. Unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get the results, but they are a very competitive side, Crows. But I've got the Adelaide Crows in 16th. Now we climb up a tier. Now we're going from 13th to 15th. And in 15th spot in 2022, my late season power rankings, I've got the GWS Giants. They're another one. They've been very, very disappointing this year, the Giants. I think a lot of people had them as surprise top 4 contenders this year. And I don't want to harp on myself too much. I didn't buy into that, and I thought, you know, maybe they're a tad overhyped. I don't think they're that good. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to credit myself here, but I did have them 12th, and that's actually probably higher than what they are going to finish this year. I have actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had them 13th the last time I did this video, so they've actually dropped even further than where I had them last time. But they do look like they're going to be losing a lot of players throughout the off-season, so that's unfortunate to see for them. But yeah, I've got the GWS Giants in 15th in my power rankings. Next, in 14th position in the 2022 late season power rankings, I'm going to nominate Hawthorn for this position. One of the only teams that haven't changed positions from last time. I'm pretty sure I had them in 14th last time. And yeah, I don't think they've really changed too much. They've found a little bit of form. They've just come off a pretty, an okay loss against St Kilda. I know St Kilda aren't the greatest side, but they only lost by 12 points, so it was a pretty gallant effort. Before that, they won 3 in a row, albeit it was against those bottom 3 sides, Adelaide, West Coast and North. But I think Hawthorn, they're another one like Adelaide. I really think they could cause some damage down the line, but yeah, I think I'm gonna put Hawthorn in 14th just because they haven't been getting the results just like Adelaide. But they are a very talented group, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have a big season next year. But up in 13th, the last one in this tier, I think this is where I put Essendon. Now, I'm pretty sure I had them 16th, I think, last time. If you had told me they would climb 3 spots in my power rankings before they hit this a magical round of form, then I probably would have laughed at you. But nah, Essendon have been phenomenal ever since that loss to West Coast. Actually, even that loss to Carlton, I think they started to find some form. You know, knocking off St Kilda by a big margin, knocking off Brisbane at the Gabba, knocking off Sydney. They were so close against Collingwood, and they haven't yet played North, but you'd assume they win against North. But yeah, I'm putting Essendon in 13th. I don't think they're in that 9-12 mark yet. I think they're still a little bit off that, but yeah, I've got Essendon in 13th in my late season power rankings. Now we move up another tier. We're going into 9th to 12th. I think this is where everyone wants to see who I have got in that 8th spot. But in 12th spot, I think this is where I'm going to put Port Adelaide. I think they've had a really inconsistent year. Port Adelaide, obviously, they had that 0-5 start at the start of the year. It's probably ultimately cost them finals. If they had won a couple of those games, maybe 2 or 3, they probably could have been a chance, or they definitely would have been still in the top 8 race, it's fair to say. But yeah, that start has really hurt them, and they've just had a 1-goal loss to Collingwood on the weekend, which has probably ruled them out of finals contention now, I'd probably have to say. I think it lost. I think it's still there, but it's just been way too inconsistent this year, and I think I'm going to put Port Adelaide in 12th. Next up, in 11th spot in 2022, and I also feel bad doing this because this team is talented, and that is the Gold Coast Suns. Now, it's probably, yeah, the Suns have probably been one of the big surprises this year. I obviously had them last. I'm not sure about you. Comment down below where you had Gold Coast at the start of the year, because I don't think many would have had them in the top 8 race at the start of the season. But they have been playing some amazing footy. Levi Casbolt, Marbia Chol, Isaac Rankin, Tug Miller, like Charlie Ballard, like those guys are really good and becoming really good players. And I think, yeah, I've got the Suns in 11th. I didn't really have the balls to put them any higher. I think 11th is where they probably will finish. But yeah, I've put Gold Coast in 11th. Next up, in 10th position in the 2022 AFL season that I predict, I think I'm going to put St Kilda here. I think just because, like a lot of teams, they have been a little bit inconsistent. They were, well, I think last time I did this video, I'm pretty sure I had them like 6th or 7th or something. So that shows how far how significantly teams can drop off. But I think St Kilda have been on the rough end of that. I think they've shown signs, but they've been really inconsistent, and I think that suggests that they're probably not finals ready this year. I think they'll narrowly miss out. I'm pretty sure 10th was where they finished last year. Yeah, I guess they haven't taken a step back, but I think it's fair to say hasn't been the season that it looked like at the start of the year for the Saints, because at the start of the year they almost looked like top 4 material, but still turn around and win their last couple of games. But for me, I just don't see it, honestly. So I'm going to predict the Saints finish 10th at the end of the 2022 AFL season. And in 9th spot, you probably guessed it, I've put Richmond again. Now, a lot of people give me a little bit of crap for not having faith in my team, but I don't have the balls to put Richmond in 8th. I don't know, we've just been so inconsistent. I mean, you look at the games we've given up. We had a 40-point lead on Sydney, choked that. We had a 40-point lead on Gold Coast, choked that. I'm pretty sure we had a 30-point lead on St Kilda early on in the year, choked that. Same with Carlton. And also we had a 17-point lead in the last quarter with like less than half a quarter to go, and we lost that to Geelong. So yeah, we've been really inconsistent this year, and I don't have the strength to put them in 8th. I would like to think so, because we've got a big game at the time recording this today against Brisbane. That could potentially, if we win that, maybe they jump in, but hopefully I'm wrong. But I reckon we probably will finish 9th, and all the Richmond 9th jokes will start up again. But I've got the Tigers in 9th. So that leaves the final 8. We've got all these teams who have made the finals, and in 8th spot, taking out the 8th spot, I reckon, and from what I've seen, I think the Doggies are the favourites for that 8th spot now. I think, they had a massive win a couple of weeks ago against the D's by 10 points in a game where I don't think many people expected the Dogs to win, and that they got it done in a pretty close contest, but nonetheless they got the job done. And they put up a gallant fight in that first half against Geelong last night, and I thought, wow, the Dogs, they really want that 8th spot, it looks like. But then Geelong in that second half just steamrolled them. So it's really hard to predict who's going to finish 8th, but I think just because they knocked off the Dogs, and they're a pretty hard side to beat at Marvel, I think the Dogs are the favourites to sew up that 8th spot. I know Richmond and St Kilda have a very tough draw to end the year, but I think the Dogs will scrape into the 8th just because Richmond and St Kilda are way too inconsistent. So I'm going to predict the Dogs to finish 8th and make the finals after, pretty sure I had them 12th last time I did this video, but I've got the Dogs in 8th. Next up, in 7th position, and I'm pretty sure I had this team higher as well earlier on in the year, but I think this is where I put Carlton. Now, I'm pretty sure I had the Blues 5th last time I did this video, so they have dropped a couple spots, but that is only because they have been a little bit inconsistent themselves, the Blues. They've gone win-loss, 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 win-loss ever since the Collingwood game, I think. So yeah, it's been really interesting for the Blues. I think they've had still a really good year. I think they've really exceeded expectations, but that loss to Adelaide makes me put them down a few spots. So yeah, I'm sorry, Blues fans. I know there are a lot of you that watch your channel, including you, Louis, but I'm going to put the Blues in 7th. I think they will make finals. It would be one of the biggest chokes if they don't make finals. Yes, I think the Blues, I reckon they're going to win one of their last 3. I get a feeling they might pinch one against Melbourne or Collingwood, or maybe even Brisbane, you never know. But I've got the Blues sneaking into finals, finishing 7th. In 6th spot, I'm going to nominate the Sydney Swans. Now, they have had an interesting year, the Swans. They've been sort of thereabouts. They've had some good performances, really good performances. That one against the Dogs a few weeks ago was really a standout one that, they are finals contention. But I think the biggest one was against Fremantle last week over in Perth, where not many people expected them to win that, and they pulled off a massive upset in the West. And I think after that game, I can't not put them any lower than 6. I think they're a chance for top 4, but from what I've seen, they're a little bit inconsistent. They're not going like Carlton and going win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. They're sort of in the middle. They're sort of going couple wins, then maybe a loss, then a win, then a loss, then a couple wins, then a loss. I'm going to put the Swans in 6. I'm pretty sure I had the Swans 6 last time, so yeah, they haven't changed from the last time I did this video. So I'm going to have the Swans in 6. In 5th position in my power rankings. Oh wow, this is actually tough. It's between Collingwood and Freo, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to put Collingwood. Yeah, I'm going to put Collingwood in 5th. Now, I know a lot of Pies fans think they're probably top 4. They are sitting 3rd, I think, on the ladder at the moment. And they're playing unbelievable footy. the Pies. They've won 10 in a row, and they are absolutely. I really rate Collingwood. I love what they're doing. They're another one. I think them, Gold Coast, Carlton, and Freo have been the big surprises this year. And Collingwood's probably the biggest of them all because, I think everyone was putting them bottom 4 at the start of the year. I'm pretty sure I had them 14th or something like that. But yeah, they've really exceeded expectations. They've surpassed the expectations this year. The Pies, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make top 4, but I feel like their percentage might cost them a top 4 spot. Collingwood in 5th, just missing out in the top 4 in 2022. In 4th spot, I'm going to put Fremantle. Now, they've had a bit of a slump, it's fair to say. The Dockers, they just got belted by Melbourne on Friday night. And yeah, I think there are some question marks. They drew to Richmond, so that was interesting. They beat St Kilda. They lost to Sydney though, and they got away with a couple against Port Adelaide and Hawthorn earlier on in the year. And I think they're starting to go through a little bit of a slump. Freo, maybe teams have worked them out. I don't know, but I think the thing that's going to keep them in good stead for a top 4, and like I said, it was really between them and Collingwood for that 4th spot. I've put Freo just ahead just because I think a couple more games at Optus Stadium, which could hold them in good stead for that top 4 spot. And personally, like I said, I would prefer them to finish 4th over Collingwood, obviously. But now we move on to the top 3, and I think it's pretty much safe to say that these 3 down here are the top 3 best sides in the comp. And in 3rd spot, I'm going to put the Brisbane Lions in 3rd. Now, they've got an interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where the Lions end up. A lot of people were saying, maybe they're not top 4 worthy. I don't agree with that. I think they are top 4 worthy. I think they're clearly one of the contenders this year. But yeah, Brisbane, they've sort of just gone about their business, honestly. They've gone under the radar a little bit because everyone's talking about the Geelong, Melbournes, even Freo and Collingwood. But Brisbane, I think, are the one that have been sort of underestimated, but they've just been getting the wins time and time again. And I think they've got a big game at the time of recording as they haven't played Richmond yet. So hopefully they don't win, but if they win that, then I think they're definitely a shout for the flag this year. And yeah, I've got the Lions in 3rd in my late season power rankings. The final 2 teams here, and it's no secret that these 2 teams are probably the 2 best in the comp, and it's really hard to split them, but I think just on form, I'm gonna put the D's in 2nd, I think, because but yeah, it's no secret the D's, they've had a little bit of a slump as well. They've had some losses that some people haven't expected. That loss to the Bulldogs, they got taught a lesson by Geelong, but they had a big win over Brisbane, and like I said, that massive win over Freo in the West. And they've got an interesting run home as well, the D's. They've got a pretty tough one. I'm pretty sure they've got Collingwood, Carlton, and then Brisbane. So it's going to be real tough for the D's, but I feel like they're mature enough. They won the flag last year. They know what it's like, and I think they will sew up 2nd spot on the ladder. But that means in first position at the end of the 2022 season, I've got the Geelong Football Club. I think it's pretty hard to go past them. In the first half they looked really shaky last night against the Bulldogs at the time of recording this. But yeah, their ability to withstand the momentum that the Dogs had, because the Dogs had all the momentum. Pretty sure they had a 26-point lead. Then Geelong, they just steamrolled them from there, and I think they kicked a few in a row, and I think they held the Dogs scoreless in that 3rd quarter, if I'm not mistaken. The Cats, they're probably just in front of Melbourne for the favourite for the flag, but I think it's going to be a real battle to see who can win the flag at the end of the year, I think. Anyways, those were my 2022 late season power rankings. We just go over them again. We've got Geelong in 1st, Melbourne in 2nd, Brisbane in 3rd, Freo rounding out the top 4, Collingwood in 5th, Sydney in 6th, Carlton in 7th. The Bulldogs are scraping into that 8th spot. In 9th spot, Richmond. St Kilda in 10th, Gold Coast in 11th, Port Adelaide in 12th, Essendon in 13th, Hawthorn in 14th, GWS in 15th, and then the bottom three we've got Adelaide, West Coast, and North Melbourne finishing last. So there we go, guys. Those were my sort of late season power rankings and sort of where I think every team will probably finish at the end of the year, and also where I think every team sits in terms of where I see them. So remember to comment down below where you think your team will finish in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, we are so close to 300 subscribers, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you could please sort of help out the channel and hit that subscribe button to help the channel grow as big as we can. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Cheers!